Hello and welcome to Anthony Johnson Speaks, where we talk about manifestation in the three key areas of life. A great relationship includes great health and greater wealth. If you're in a great relationship, you want great health and greater wealth, right? Today we're talking about, I think, something along the lines of pay attention to nonverbal cues. So we did the last episode on active listening, and that revolves around better communication in relationships. So I thought today would be a good day to talk about paying attention to nonverbal cues. So facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, hand movements, anything that kind of gives you an idea of what the person might be thinking while you're in conversation. And again, to piggyback off what we said in the last episode around active listening, if you notice any of these things and they raise a question in your mind or they make you feel uncomfortable, the first thing you want to do is make the person aware of it and ask them if they would like to talk at a different time, or ask them if they can be more present. So, in communication with anyone, any type of relationship, the idea is to be honest, to be open, and to be authentic. So, if you notice something that makes you feel uncomfortable, the first thing to do is to say something about it. But get curious and ask the person what's going on. In some cases, if someone's really highly distracted, it may be best to just have the conversation at a later time. Sometimes people can't get their mind around the idea of listening to a new conversation if they already have a lot of things going on in their mind. Maybe they're thinking about their body or their health or something from work or something with finances. And if this is a person that you're just friends with, or maybe it's a family member, they may not be open to talking to you about that specific problem, but they also don't have the capacity to talk to you about the thing that you or they need to talk about right now. The other thing is, if you have some type of distraction going on in your mind, you may also experience some of these things like body language, or your tone may be stressed, or you may move your hands in a way. And all of these things that we do are indicators that we don't really want to talk, or we don't really want to listen, because we are not in the space or the place or the mindset to actually take in what the person is saying, understand what the person is saying, or be compassionate with them, or provide empathy. So, in some cases, even though a conversation may be important, it may be the best thing to put it on hold and wait until you are present and the other person is present, and you are both actively listening without any external or internal distractions. So when we talk about facial expressions, there could be a number of things that people will indicate in their facial expression that indicates to you as the listener that something is going on in their mind. So you can ask a question like, what did that facial expression mean? Or, I noticed your eyebrow went up. Or, I noticed that your eyes closed. Or, I noticed that you looked away. Did you mean anything by that? Are you okay with what I said? Do you have any questions about what I said? Also, the tone of voice. Is the person speaking really low? Is the person speaking really loud? That could indicate that they're angry or that they're fearful. Are they fidgeting? Are they moving their hands? Maybe they are nervous. Maybe it's a big topic and maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't know how you are going to accept what you're hearing, what they are telling you. So ask the question, are you nervous right now? Are you okay? Do you need me to do anything? Are you okay talking about this? Help the person feel comfortable about the conversation if you notice that things are going on that make you feel like maybe they're angry, or maybe they're upset, or maybe they're afraid, or maybe they're nervous. So, what you want to do when you're actively communicating, especially if you're communicating in a relationship that is with a romantic partner, you want to make sure that they feel heard and that they feel safe and that they feel okay being vulnerable. At the same time, if you're feeling something that is a little off for you and that you're not sure of, you want to make sure that you ask the question, you get curious, and you help them fully tell you the story in a way that's going to help you understand what they need, what they want, what's going to help them feel better, and what's going to help them feel like the conversation was really beneficial for both of you. You don't want to go into conversation and have someone feel like they weren't heard or they weren't understood. And sometimes when we're listening to someone, if we're distracted or we're not listening, we may not fully get what the person is trying to tell us. So in some cases, when you see certain facial expressions, you see certain body language or hand movements, that could be an indicator to you as the person telling the story that the person listening is distracted, or the person is inside their head, or they're thinking about what you're saying in their mind, and they're not really listening to the rest of the story or the rest of what you have to say. So if you're having a conversation that's difficult, some of the ways that you can get through difficult conversations is to say, when I say something, if you don't understand or if you don't know what I mean, just ask and I'll explain. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to get through difficult conversations by going a little bit higher level. So you're not giving all the intricate details because it's easier and it's quicker to get through it at a higher level. Going through it at a higher level could potentially mean that the other person doesn't understand fully. They may not get all of the pieces to the puzzle. So it's up to them to ask questions if they don't understand. And at the same time, it's up to you to say, hey, do you understand what I mean? Or do you know where I'm coming from? Or are you getting this? And then if they say no, you can add in more details. Or if they ask for more details or they ask additional questions, you can answer at that time. So just be aware of the way people move, the way they're sitting or standing, if their arms are crossed, if they're not making eye contact, if they're looking down at the floor, if they're looking up towards the air. All of these things are indicators that they are probably in their head thinking about something that you've already said and not actively listening to the rest of your conversation. So one of the key things that we want to try to do, especially in romantic relationships, is keep communication open, keep communication flowing, have days where we actively communicate about the day or about the weekend that's coming or the upcoming week so that we kind of give each other an idea of what's going on. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? What do we want? What are we excited about? What are we not so excited about? And then if something happens on one of those days, it's a lot easier for us to talk to the person because we've kind of already given some insight into how we think it might go. I may not like going to work on a Saturday. So if you come home from work on Saturday and you're upset, you've kind of already prepped the person for the fact that you may be upset when you come home on Saturday. Of course, in the realm of manifestation and thinking about what you want out of life, it would probably not be a good idea to go into your week thinking that something is not going to be beneficial or enjoyable. But hey, I'm just saying. So prep your partner, prep your friends, prep your family, let them know what's going on. And the more you communicate openly, authentically, and vulnerably, the better the relationship will be, the stronger your connections will be. And then in time, it will get really easy for you to have what you might consider a difficult conversation because you're so used to communicating well, the other person is used to listening well, you understand them, they understand you, and having a conversation is something that you look forward to because you know that it leads to understanding, connection, closeness, and all of the things that you want in a good relationship, regardless of the type of relationship that it is. So you can practice these things on your own, outside of the relationship. Stand, actively listen. You can listen to the TV even and just take note of how you feel. Take note of your body. How are your arms? How are your eyes? How is your head? If your head is tilted to the side, a person might get the impression that you don't understand or you don't believe what they're saying. So practice these things. Maybe you want to practice with friends or a family member so that when you're actively listening to your partner, you know when you're listening, you look like you are really engaged versus not thinking about it, not having it be intentional, and standing there in front of them and having them think or feel that you're not actively listening. If you have questions, shoot me an email. I will send you the ebook on active listening and also visual cues for body language. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode when we talk about intimate sex. And I know that's one that you've all been waiting for. Hey, even I've been waiting for that one. All right, have a great day.